Okay,
Nope.
and this
Oh,
is
there
the
it is. It
camera.
just popped on.
Okay.
Hi, this is Laurie,
This is Peter.
and we're with Action Heroes LA with a new review, this time of
Woman King.
The Woman King.
The
Not just
Woman
any
King.
Woman King. The Woman King.
Yes.
Okay, this is the latest movie starring Viola Davis.
Boy, she was in it.
I thought you were going to name some of the other actors. It's Viola Davis, and excuse any mispronunciation of any of these names. Thuso, Mbedu,
Mbedu.
Lashana, Lynch, Sheila, Atim, John Boyega is a familiar face.
Oh, and Hero Fine Tiffin.
Hero Fine Tiffin, who is the nephew of Rafe and Josephine, Voldemort, and the commander from Handmaid's Tale, Commander Waterford. Woo, that's some they just play all the bad guys, apparently,
Yes.
that family.
Yes.
But John Bolger as the meriney boy, as my parents would call him.
The Meriney boy?
The meriney boy. You know who I'm talking about?
No, not really.
I was gonna joke and say it looked like you with a wig from way back.
Oh.
The light-skinned dude, the meriney, which is a nickname I got called by Bill Withers.
Oh, okay.
Bill Withers?
Yes.
It's that I'd never heard before, but apparently it's
a thing.
It's a thing. It's an old thing. Like older black people know what a meriney is.
Okay.
I know what it is now. But anyway, so this was directed by, and this is kind of nice because I'm glad to see this lady directing big movies like this. Gina Prince-Bythewood. You ever heard of Gina Prince-Bythewood?
I was going to say, I heard of Prince.
You have to throw that in, of course. Yeah, she was one of those directors kind of in when minority directors start kind of breaking through, particularly black females. In the late 90s. She did a movie early 2000s. They're kind of breakthrough, but not really yet. Not like now. But she did a movie called Love and Basketball.
I really like that
That's
movie.
a great movie, isn't it? Love and Basketball.
is.
She's done some other ones I've seen too that are really good. So I'm really happy for her because I think she's a good, solid director. And she broke through so early that she doesn't have the career that's the level of her talent as a director. Yeah, she doesn't have it. And I think but she has picked and choose. She's kind of hasn't done a whole lot of films, but she's been able to pick and choose more, I think, what she wanted to do. But anyway, let's get into The Woman King. So what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, first of all, was that this was actually a really good movie.
It was, yes.
I liked everything they did in it. But what was really weird is that I really liked that when they came up with the rules for the Ogoji, they stayed with it. They could have taken some liberties and said, oh, well, but this time, and here's what they're going to do. But no, they said, no.
So they had a standard there of living, a code of ethics and livings, and there was things they couldn't marry. They couldn't have relationships. To be the Ogoji were the women warriors. You would know them as the Dora Milaje. Basically, that's who the Marvel female warriors from Wakanda, from Black Panther, are based on these real. And this movie is based on true events. So, of course, it's not. It takes liberties, but there was this kingdom of the homies,
yeah,
and that was guarded. They had this fierce army of women warriors that protected the kingdom. They're one of the few kingdoms that protected themselves from slave traders. Now there's some controversy about this movie, and we'll get into that later about that particular topic. But I just wanted to get in this movie was very, very good, very entertaining. You know, Viola Davis doing the Lord's work. She was just fantastic in this.
Yes.
And as all of the actors were just really, really good. Just
really good.
Yeah.
Really
particularly
good.
all of the women.
Yes. But it was mostly women. So how?
Well, yeah, but you had John Boyega and John Bolger and Hero finds Tiffin.
Are we sure? Are we sure John's last name isn't Washington?
John Boyega. He looked like what?
He
Denzel Washington's
so
son.
much like
What is this?
Denzel Washington.
His son, or John David Washington.
Well, he looks more like Denzel himself.
Okay,
his mannerisms, his looks, his mannerisms, his movements, his persona. There was a couple times that I actually sat back in my chair, just when he wasn't even talking, he just kind of moved and batted his eyes, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's Denzel."
Really?
Yes.
I didn't even. It didn't occur to me. I'd have to probably watch it again because I wasn't looking for it. Okay,
so we'll go watch it again.
I had to go to the theater again. So, yeah, I was like, we saw this in the theater about a week ago, and I want to say it's a really good. I want to call it like a popcorn movie. I think with Viola Davis and kind of the subject matter. I mean, this is her, as people are comparing it to her Gladiator. I think people might want to take it as a more serious, historical, when you have somebody of caliber of actor of like Viola Davis. But I mean, she's just badass, awesome and strong and fierce. And and gets to do like great fight scenes and shit.
But beyond that, the acting and the storyline that they took with her was just incredible.
Yeah.
It was just incredible.
I agree. It was a good story. A good story made better by there were some parts they could have really over sentimentalized or the melodrama, but because of they kept it low key, and because of the quality of the acting, it made it like a even greater the story. Where because it could have been some cliche developments, so some people could see coming, but just the way it was handled by the actors and the director and the script was just like, wow, that was really good. That was that's something I like. It's like nuanced, which a lot of movies will beat you over the head with something like that, and this it just really handled very well. And I want to talk about the action scenes.
Okay.
I mean, I really enjoyed them. They're kind of pretty typical Hollywood. They're a little choppy with the quick edits and stuff, but not as bad as a lot of movies do. And just seeing these women just doing all this great action, and apparently they all really trained hard to do this and stuff. And it's all on the screen too. You could tell.
Yes, it is. Like, because I really like football.
Yeah.
And I really like football when a player has left everything out on the field. And that's what it seemed what all of these women did. They left it on the screen. They did it.
They got deep. They dug deep down in the dirt. They got that funk deep and pushed it up before
and they poured it back out to the world.
I was talking about going through the floor.
Oh, they went through the floor.
They went through the floor into the dirt.
Yes.
And left it there.
Yes.
So this it's one of those movies you're kind of hyped up. I mean, they kill off a lot of white people, a lot of bad white people.
Yes.
and in a way, because they're just generic, so there's not any.
But
which is another reason why it's a popcorn movie.
With some of the action, and when it was known what happened where, and I'm not telling a lot that I could tell. but I'm doing that on purpose because I want you to go see this movie.
Right. I do want to qualify. It's like, yeah, they beat up a lot of people. They're slave traders, and you know, there's like some some revenge that you kind of get excited about. But the kind of the main, not controversy. What is it? The main conflict is not, and this is bringing the controversy of the movie was that the criticism it was getting before it's coming out, the truth about the Goji warriors in the kingdom of Dahomey is they were known to, you know, capture people and sell them into slavery. So people were like, you know, this is where do you really want to elevate and kind of kind of shine this like put a heroic lens.
Well, see, I don't think it was that they said, no, let's tell the truth.
Well, and that's what I want to get at. There's a lot of times people will come in and it's like, oh, you look at the trailers like, oh, they're making these people look like heroes, but they captured a lot of people and sold them into slavery. Yes. And to keep themselves protected. Right, and they talk about that in the movie. They do address that in the movie, and they address whether it's morally correct or to be doing that, and you know at what cost. Now, whether that conversation actually happened between these real life people or characters or situation, who knows? Probably it maybe not, but the movie does address it and does say, that was a wrong. and I think the way they addressed it, because they said, well, you know, we can do it this way, or we can do it that way, or we can do it this other way. Right. And each way, the king actually addressed, well, if we do it this way, then here's the problem. If we do it this way, then here's the problem. Yeah. And then Mbedu. Mbedu. Oh, who is that? The actress Thuso? Yes. She played the young warrior that gets dumped on the. And she came out as a young person and said, "Yeah, well, we have to go 100 miles an hour in this direction." They said, "Well, but here you are actually right. But if we go 100 miles an hour in that direction, here's the problem." So that's why I say it's a great directed movie. It's a great written movie because the director didn't come back and say, you know what, let's take this out. Let's move it along. Let's It's just like it was a complex situation. It was a complicated situation. There were no easy answers. Right. They did have, and I'm sure within the kingdom there were probably people who was like, you know what, should we be doing this? Isn't this kind of wrong to be selling human lives into slavery? Our people are. Shouldn't we keep? I mean, this is something I brought up with people because it's like, well, black people sold their own people into slavery, but it's like. That's looking at us as a monolith again, and not realizing they were tribe. People were tribes. It's like, you know, white America, when the Irish came over, they put them in the ghettos. You know, they were. Everybody has kind of a level. You see, you have an other, whether you look like or not. Right. So that was the warring tribe. That was their enemy tribe. They captured them. Who they captured got sold into slavery. Not that was right, but you know, it's trying to make it seem. And everything had a reason. Well, not a good reason, but it might not have been a good reason, but the movie shows here's my reason. This is why, and you might say, yeah, but that's not good, but. The movie also said, this is what I did. I understand that's what I did. Here's the reason why I did it. I liked it. I didn't like it. But here was the outcome. Yeah. So like I said again, as a movie,
This was a great movie.
It's a movie that will address its concerns but not get bogged down in them, because it's just like, I want to be an action pick about these badass, strong women, and give them their flowers.
Yes.
And, it's like whether, there's some controversy, but just the idea that there's these badass women protecting this kingdom is pretty amazing. And it's a history we should know.
Yes, and the other thing that I really liked about it is that they really made some of the warriors, not all of them, but they really made some of the warriors, including, I would say, Viola Davis, look like they have been through it.
Yeah, they trained hard.
And they took the king, and the king said, "Oh yeah, I got my hottie wife right here, but you know what? I gotta go right here."
Yeah. It's like, my trusted generals who protect our ass.
Now that's
he had his
one
wife,
of the things.
So. It was kind of funny. His character, the king, played by John Boyega, was very kind of a pampered, Well, he was a king.
Oh, you mean Denzel's son?
Denzel's son. No, I thought his portrayal was interesting. I'm not sure if I completely buy him as a king. He seemed like he was having a little fun in the role and playing against what he usually gets to play. And one side note, because John Boyega is British. He's from England. Why in Star Wars did they make him have an American accent? They didn't have Daisy Ridley do an American accent. Why him? Anyway, I'm just like, this is completely sidetracking the whole thing.
F and N?
Forgot about that. All right.
Still got a little twinge because of that one.
Anyway, so that's completely beside the point. But I am curious. This made me think of that. And here he gets to do an African accent. So
Yes, but he was an African king.
Yes.
And
he is an African king.
Yeah. And that's Denzel's son.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Denzel. I know your wife might.
He has a son. I don't know how many sons he has.
Yeah.
He has one.
I know.
John David from Black Klansman, among other things. But anyway, let's get back to this movie. So, any other thoughts on The Woman King? It's a really good movie.
There's one I wanted to ask you.
Oh.
Because it seems like, does John say you take over as your king, you're taking over the throne?
she spoiler alert. Yeah, she well, there was one of the things about this kingdom too was in their history they kind of alternated between women and men rulers, and there was something that happened within John Boyega's character's rule. I think there wasn't how he became king as like before there. He inherited it from another man is because I forget there wasn't an eligible woman or somebody had died or they didn't have. There were some reasons it was skipped over. So this was kind of an effort to rebalance the rule. And this is another thing about that kingdom is like the kind of like equality of the sexes that was very unusual at the time. There was a more of an equilibrium between the two.
Right.
So that was kind of displaying that, and so this is the kind of the climax of one of the climax of the movie. It's how she becomes the woman king. And she earns it first of all.
Well, and the other thing is like I said, the rules, they didn't take shortcuts. They didn't say, well, we'll do this and make it real pretty at the end and tie up the bow and stuff like this.
No.
They said, no, just throw it out there. And there it is.
Throw it out there. Yeah.
And if it was dirty, it was dirty. If it was gritty, it was gritty.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if
there's some grit in this movie.
If it punched you in the face, yeah, that's what it did.
Okay.
That, you know, they didn't go, oh, well, let's just kiss it on the cheek. No, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed this movie. I highly recommend it. It's to go see it. It is, you know, if you want to see Gladiator or any Mel Gibson Revolutionary War bullshit, you know, it's better to know. Well, it's better. What was that movie? I forget. He played The Patriot, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway. But yeah, it's way better than that. But yeah, it's like Gladiator, at least, you know, gladiator level.
Yeah. And we had the homies and the OGs.
That's what I want to get to. There is a mid-credit scene in this. Why everybody's doing this now? It doesn't seem like the type of movie that would have a mid-credit scene, but I guess that's the thing to do now.
Yeah.
But it's okay. And spoiler alert, if you don't want to know what it is, then, you know, turn it off right now. But it's just a little scene where they're like pouring out liquor in honor of the fallen, you know, their fallen compatriots. So basically the origins are pouring one out for the homies.
Came from the homie.
It came from the homie, and they were pouring. Yeah, it was. I thought that was kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
They included that at there. So black people stay for the mid-credit scene because that's pretty hilarious.
Yep.
Anyway, The Woman King is out in theaters now. Shall we wrap this up?
Yeah, The Woman King.
Oh, look at that West Side.
West Side.
West Side. What? I haven't done that since the 90s. I don't know if I'm doing it right. But go see it. Viola Davis, great acting from her, from the whole cast. Some good action. Just a really good film. Probably the most fun I've had. Well, it's not a summer. We're kicking off this is kind of like kicking off the Oscar season.
Yes,
fall
it is.
movies, Oscar season. So I don't think this will be.
That movie should win one, but
yeah. Well, I don't know if it'll. Oh, you know what? The cinematography in this was really good too.
Amazing.
They had some gorgeous scenes in this.
Yes.
You know, beautiful scenes of Africa. But yeah, I don't know if this will qualify. It's a good movie. I don't know if it's like Best Picture level, but I do think like some of the acting could sneak through some nominations on this. So I think, and that's The Woman King, and we out. Like the Agojis killing off some white slave traders on the coast homies. And the homies and pouring one out for the homies. We out like pouring one out for the homies.
All right, now.
All right, we out.
We out.
We so goofy. Bye.